Hello, welcome everyone. I'm so glad that you could make it today for my short presentation. And I'm glad that we could make it here in our break room because then you can all enjoy coffee. The only downside to that is, of course, we don't have the large screen. But I have my computer here and you can follow along with the handouts that I've given each of you. I also just quickly want to thank the Chief of Police, the General Manager, and the board members for taking the time. I know you're all real busy, but I think you'll find these presentations worth your while. So the name of the presentation is Social Media Outreach Proposal for Positive Image and Identity for our police department. So moving along here, the problem. Let's talk about the problem. So police departments have a bad image and identity within the communities that they serve. Now, image and identity for police departments and the support from the community is like a pendulum. Years ago, the pendulum would swing this way and we'd have more support from our communities. And then years later, it goes the other way. Right now, we're over here. And incidents such as Ferguson and the Fruitvale officer-involved shootings and some of the ways that they were handled has really created a negative image for us, and that's the problem. Let's talk about the solution. The solution really is quite easy. It's just implementing it and putting it into place. So, an assigned officer to apply social media and public relations outreach. We can effectively use social media to express our department's identity and the district's identity and image, as well as utilizing concepts in the public relations area. We'd use such social media outlets as Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and Twitter. Now, let's break some of these down. With social media, we can do relationship building. Think about what the kids are doing. And people in general, young adults, entrepreneurs, they're on the internet. Whether it be religious institutions, civic programs, public schools, anywhere, people are using social media to find out what's going on. In fact, a lot of newspapers are going out of business because people are getting their news on the internet and social media. So if we use social media to our advantage, we can reach all of these people where otherwise the police department might not be able to. And also, public relations. Here's the thing with public relations. I talked about the Fruitvale police shooting incident and Ferguson. What was the number one thing why that went badly? I can tell you. Because those police agencies did not have good public relations people that knew what they were doing to get out in front of the critical incident and explain it to their communities, and in this case, to the country. So what happened is the news media, who are uneducated in the workings of police departments and officers and the laws that they have to follow, so on and so forth, they went and took their own spin, and you can see what happened. Things got out of control. So if we have a good public relations person that's trained in how to give and send out proper media releases and press releases on these sorts of critical incidences, then we can explain what happened, what the police department's going to do about it, what investigations are taking place, and so on and so forth. This is very, very, very important to have trained public relations officers. And in many of the larger agencies, such as San Francisco PD or Oakland PD, there are public relations people, but they're untrained police officers, usually in internal affairs investigations, that are just doing this. Well, the public relations aspect. Well, the problem of it is that they're not using social media and they're not doing the proper public relations and using social media to work the public relations. So it's not getting done properly. And we can't blame them because they're not trained to do so. So moving along, let's go into this a little bit deeper. What else can we use social media for? Events. we have the hugely successful National Night Out. We have Cops for Kids. We have, brunches and luncheons and get-togethers, fairs, parades, where a public or a social media person using social media to announce these sorts of activities can help facilitate and coordinate them and reach out to the community. And so many times right now that's not being done. And what this does is this makes a positive connection and community building with the people that we serve. We use social media not only to promote these things, but in these events, that's when we teach people about how to be good witnesses and what police do and why they do it. You know, some of the best cases in my career have been solved by the public actually giving information and being able to identify suspects. We need to build that relationship. We need to create that healthy image when we're solving crimes with the help of the community. It's going to make the police department look better. It's going to make our relationship stronger. Our community is going to support our police department, and that's going to look also good for the general manager, the chief of police, and the board members, because we have a strong relationship with the community. So let's talk about cost, because I know you're all going to be a little bit concerned about that, but really it's not going to be too bad. And these are just averages, but average police officer costs our police department about $50,000 in salary when taken off the street. I estimate about $1,000 a year for training a public relations officer and a social media officer to be able to not only use social media, but to create websites, to learn how to send out newsletters, to properly do news releases. All of this, the officer has to be trained. And of course, I'm hoping that that officer would be me. Next, I estimate about $2,000 a year just to train the other officers, because this will be a 4-year assignment that I will rotate out of, or whoever you assign if we approve the proposal, and another officer will have to go in. So it would be cheaper for the existing media officer and public relations officer to train the new person. So I estimate about $2,000 for that. And also they can help, with current events and updating and so on and so forth. So let's break it down a little bit more and look at the cost analysis. You can see we have the pie chart here. The blue is the total operational costs of the department with all 10 officers, and then other costs such as maintaining the patrol vehicles, insurance, and so on and so forth. The pinkish color here is the salary of the officer, and then the other two are the training for the other officers, and then for the public relations officer, social media officer themselves. And you can see it's a very small part of the pie chart. Now, moving on, I think in a conclusion, we really need to discuss the fact of the benefits of using social media and public relations as an outreach to help our image. Okay? Using social media and better public relations efforts before, during, and after a critical incident, as well as regular outreach using social media, will greatly increase our image of our agency through social media. This is very, very, very important. When we have that strong relationship and we're solving crimes and we're educating the public on what police do and we're hearing their needs and wants, everybody's going to be happier for it, and we're going to serve the community better. And I think the return in that will far outweigh the small cost. So I do have a few references here, and you can take a look at those really quick. And they are also on your handout. I thank you for taking this 10 minutes to listen to the proposal, and I really hope you consider it. And if you have any questions, we can discuss it at the next employee meeting next week. Thank you, and have a good day.